Hi, today we're going to be looking at meetings and consultation and where they fit into a good integrated management system. My name is Michael Terry, I'm from Momentum Safety and Ergonomics, and this is our series on building your integrated management system. Okay, so meetings, consultation, communication, we all know that they're important, but I really think they are a cornerstone of a good integrated management system. So today we're going to have a closer look at how they work. But as an extra to this video, we're also going to have a look at Mango, some cloud compliance software that I have a partnership with. This will be an extra video, so for those of you that don't use Mango, no worries, we'll look at other ways as well. But for those of you that do use Mango or are interested, I'll have a link to that video there as well. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so jumping on straight into meetings, we can see, according to my way of thinking, there should be about 3 different types of meetings. You have your higher level management meetings, you'll have your mid-level operational team meetings, toolbox talks, those sorts of things. Then you might have your daily meetings that we might talk about being pre-starts, that sort of thing. So jumping straight on in and looking at management review, I've already had a good talk about this in my planning section. So yeah, jump back on, have a look at that video if you have any questions about that. They are a really critical part of your meeting structure and your management system. They're not the sort of meeting that you have all the time. I think they should be around about every 3 to 6 months. That will depend, of course, on the company, but largely, I think they don't want to be something that you're having too often because it doesn't allow for things to change and for us to be able to review. But also, they shouldn't be happening too infrequently as well. So I think 3 to 6 months, if you're looking for a guide, is a pretty good start from my point of view. So just to remind you, if you want to do management review meetings, you should use a particular structure. And the ISO standards do give some guidance to that. If we want to go and have a little bit of a look at what a meeting template might look like, this is the sort of one I use here. And all of my resources can be found on the website, and there'll be links to those in the description for this video. So that's the type of template I will use to conduct management review meetings. Looking next at our next level down, our team meetings or our what we might call toolbox talks. It will depend. If your company's big enough, you may have a couple of levels here. I'm just going to assume that you're a small to mid-sized business and you're only having one level, so you might be having a site meeting or a department meeting or even a toolbox talk for the crew. So that's the sort of meeting that we're talking about here. And the main thing here is that they're going to be common interests in the people that are attending these meetings. So we're trying to do some sort of education, communicate something about our crew, our group, that sort of thing. These will often be linked to training or ad hoc type training as well. So important that you conduct these. I often use these as a chance to relay important information about work procedures, safe work procedures, those sorts of things, any safety incidents that might have occurred, any quality issues that might have come up along the way as well. So how do we conduct those? So here is what I might use to record or conduct something like an ad hoc training, toolbox talk, that type of meeting. So we'll have some objectives, we'll have how it was presented, the session plan or the basic topics that were covered, and if necessary you can attach something like a safe work procedure. Maybe something like that. That's an example of how I do safe work procedures, pictures with instructions, and obviously some sort of sign off at the end of it to make sure that we know who attended and that there's evidence that they did attend that. And that will be a satisfactory training record for that ad hoc type training. The third level that we are talking about is our pre-start. So these are our daily meetings, and they're generally done for types of workplaces where you do have daily changes. So this is going to be construction workplaces, obviously, or any time we're starting a new job, new project, and we want to do a bit of a kick-off meeting to make sure that everything with regards to operational issues and safety issues have been considered. So lots of different examples of how you might conduct these, but let's have a look at one example. Okay, so this is an example of a pre-start meeting that you might conduct. Some details at the top, some basic checklists of things that should have been done at this point in time in the job, some questions about who is the first aider, and then we go on a couple more details, and then we go on to have a look at the tasks being performed, major hazards, whether those hazards are controlled by safe work method statements, and whether they've been implemented. And then a bit of a sign off at the end. And you can have your own company employees attending these, or they could also be subcontractors, that sort of thing. So that's how we will do, or that's how I will do a pre-start talk. Okay, so how should your meetings be conducted? So many of you, it might be something like this, where you've got everyone sitting around on a boardroom table and their laptops out. So that's more of a corporate type meeting structure. It might be something more casual like this, where everyone is more sitting around and having a discussion. That's fine, as long as someone's capturing and recording what is being discussed and the major outcomes of that. Or these days, of course, it might be a little bit more like this. So online, and we're all getting better. It's one of the things that I like about the pandemic. One of the few things that have been good about it is that we've gotten much better at doing video communication. It's not the answer for everything. I'm sure we've all been in those meetings where it certainly has not been, but it is useful sometimes, and you can get a lot out of those meetings. You might feel like your meetings are a bit more like this, where everyone is standing around having their own conversations. That does happen. I think the plan, that the way that I try and get around this is that I try and make sure that the meetings are relevant and that we have clear topics to discuss and that people know what they are, and that we stay on track. Once your meeting starts drifting away from those clear topics, then we're missing the point. The other major important thing, I think, is outcomes. You need to make sure that your meetings have some sort of action or outcome at the end of that. And that outcome might be as simple as the fact that everyone has been trained in a particular procedure, but there might be to-dos that come out of those as well, particularly from the meetings where we have having more of a discussion about a topic. So there we go, guys. That's what I think about how we can put meetings into better practice and integrate them into an integrated or safety or quality management system. Thanks for listening.